बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आपके सामने आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है दैट इज अबाउट लैब इक्विपमेंट। मोस्टली अभी तक जो लेक्चर्स रिकॉर्ड किए आप लोगों के लिए दैट वर अबाउट द theoretical portion component of the biochemistry subject, and now we are discussing about the practical aspect of the biochemistry subject. Today we will briefly discuss about the different lab equipment used in the biochemistry lab, and they are usually asked in the OSPE examination about them. Either they ask you identify the glass equipment or lab equipment and mention at least two uses or at least one use of that particular equipment. We will discuss the lab equipment one by one, and we will also discuss their uses or their use in the lab. So first one is the beaker. Beaker is having multiple uses. The photo of the beaker is in front of you. Generally, it is a simple container which can be used for mixing and heating the liquids. Secondly, there is a marking on the wall of the beaker, so you can measure amount of liquid by using beaker. And then there are different sizes of the beaker. Very small beakers are available, and large size beaker are also available, which can contain up to several liters of any liquid. Then another important equipment is test tube holder. Usually when we hold the liquid within the test tubes, they are to be heated. So you can't heat them by holding within your fingers or within your hand, because it will harm your skin or harm your hand. So we have the test tube holders. You can safely hold the test tube in the flame to heat it, or you can keep it in the water bath by holding through test tube holder. This will protect your hand. Medicine dropper, it is also called as simple dropper or medicine dropper. You can add any liquid, few drops of any liquid or reagent to a test tube. You can add drops of the liquid to a beaker or any other container by using this dropper. If you want to add a few drops, drop by drop adding is by the medicine dropper. Then this is a conical flask, Eller-Meyer flask, or you can simply say it as a conical flask. It is flat, conical body, and that's what is also known as conical flask. It is also having marking to make a different amount of liquid, and it is easy to pour out liquid from this flask. And most of the time the liquid which can evaporate is being held in this conical flask. We can add a rubber cork on the mouth of the flask. Then test tube holders is holder rack. Test tube rack is to keep the test tube safe and prevent them from rolling over. This will also help in drying the test tubes. And then in order to clean the test tubes, we have test tube brush. Forceps. Forceps is being usually used in holding and in order to grab certain objects, in order to prevent your fingers from burning or from getting harmed. Then we have the volumetric flask. As the name indicates, we can measure the different amount of liquid by this volumetric flask. Spatula. It is being used to transfer solids to any other container or by By this spatula, you can add the solids to a liquid or any other container. Then graduated cylinder, it is used to measure the accurate amount of the any liquid. It is having the marking, so you can measure the exact amount of the liquid. You can add liquid from graduated cylinder to the beaker or from beaker to the graduated cylinder. Then this is the test tube, which is the commonest glassware in the lab. It is used to hold liquid, and it is basically used to heat the liquid or to warm the liquid. Glass stirrer. Sometimes you have different liquids or different solid, and you want to mix them, or don't want you want to add some solid to a liquid and want to mix them. You can use glass stirrer, a piece of glass equipment used to mix the chemical or liquid for laboratory purposes. Then the beaker tongues, they are used to carry the beaker, especially when the beaker is hot or beaker is very cold, to protect your hands. Crucible tongues, they are also used to hold different lab equipment if they are very hot or if they are very cold. Retort stand, a piece of scientific equipment to which clamps can be attached to hold test tubes or other equipment such as burettes. Basically, it is a stand to hold different test tubes or burette. Clay triangle. Clay triangle is used to hold crucible while the crucible is heated. Funnel, it is used to add different liquids or liquids to any other container. Used to channel liquid or fine grained substance into a container with a small opening in order to prevent spillover or loss of that liquid or solids. Then evaporating dish. Petri dish is a very common glassware used mainly in the pathological lab, and it is also used by the different biologists in order to culture media, in order to culture bacteria. Spot plates. They are being used to hold small amount of liquids or small amount of solids within them. Then we have the watch glass. It has been used as a cover, either on a beaker or on china dish, so you can see through it and you can prevent the evaporation of the liquids from that glass from that beaker. Wire mesh, a semi-permeable barrier made of connected strands of metal, fiber, or other flexible material. It is basically used while heating the beaker by placing on them in order to prevent direct heating. Crucibles are small pots which are used when we have to do extreme heating. These are the small containers with vessels in order to crush different types of solids. Burette, it is also a common glassware within the lab. It is used to add mere quantity of liquid to any other container. Filter papers used to separate fine solids from the liquid or air. Then we have the sea clamps. They are used to hold different containers such as test tubes or burettes to the stand, retort stand. जो आपको स्टैंड दिखाया था उसके साथ होल्ड करने के लिए this one was the stand. आपको दोबारा से शो कर दूं. We use these C stands along with this stand in order to hold test tubes or in order to hold the burettes, C clamps. Then analytical balance. In order to measure the amount of solid, of any solid, you can use filter paper, and on the top of the filter paper you place the different amount of solids or in order to measure them. Graduated standards, they are used to measure accurately different amount of liquids. Rubber stopper or rubber cork, they are being used if we want to keep the liquids from evaporating, or we want to keep them safe in order to prevent their spillover. Wash bottle is a very important component of the lab. It is used to wash off the test tubes it provides. If you push it or compress the bottle, you will have a pressure flow of water from its nozzle. Wash glass we've already discussed. Bunsen burner. It is also an important component of the lab. It is used to heat the test tubes or to heat the beakers or any other container. It is used for heating purpose. That was all about the lab equipment used in the biochemistry lab, which is usually asked in the examination. And one component which has been left out is spirit lamp. Spirit lamps are also being used commonly in the lab for heating purpose to the test tubes and the beakers or any other container. Thank you so much. आपके कोई भी comments हों आप comment section में post कर सकते हैं, WhatsApp कर सकते हैं. Your queries will be most welcome. Till then, Allah Hafiz.